The field is quiet under the first stars. The air is cool. The horizon is still holding the last edge of day. And maybe that is where this feeling belongs. That private sense that life should look more complete by now. Not perfect. Not finished in every way. Just more certain than it does. More recognizable. More settled. More like the version you once thought would arrive after enough years. Enough effort. Enough trying to become who you were supposed to be. It can be hard to admit that feeling because nothing has to be wrong for it to appear. You can be grateful and still feel unfinished. You can have grown and still feel unsure. You can be doing your best and still wonder why some parts of life feel like they are taking so long to become clear. And sometimes the hardest part is not the uncertainty itself. It is the quiet pressure to have a better explanation for where you are. A reason, a timeline, a clear story that makes everything make sense. But real life often does not organize itself that neatly while it is happening. The mind keeps reaching for a conclusion. The body carries that reach in small ways. Behind the eyes after too much thinking, across the forehead when the same question keeps returning, in the jaw when something inside is trying to stay patient while also wanting an answer. The stars appear slowly. Wait, appear, remain. Wait, appear, remain. The rhythm does not rush. One light shows itself, then another becomes noticeable only after the sky has darkened enough to receive it. And that can feel strangely familiar, because there may be parts of your life that have been forming quietly, but not yet visibly, parts of you that have been changing before anyone could name the change, parts of the future that have been gathering without announcing themselves. Still, the mind can be impatient with invisible things. It wants proof. It wants the next shape. It wants evidence that nothing has been wasted. And when evidence does not arrive quickly enough, the old fear can return. The fear that maybe this is all there is. The fear that maybe the moment passed. The fear that becoming should have been completed by now. But under the stars, that fear does not feel quite as convincing. It is still here. It still has a voice, but it is not the only voice in the field. Wait, appear, remain. The rhythm returns with more space inside it now. There is something about waiting that changes when it is no longer treated as failure. A pause does not always mean nothing is happening. A delay does not always mean something has gone wrong. An unfinished chapter does not mean the story has stopped caring about where it is going. The breath moves a little easier. The chest has more room. More weight is being held by the ground beneath what has been trying so hard to understand everything. Nothing has been solved, and still, less effort is needed. That is the first quiet opening, the realization that the body does not need the whole answer before it can stop bracing against the question. A small sound moves through the grass, maybe a night bird, maybe only wind passing where the field has grown taller. It interrupts the silence just enough. Attention follows it, then returns. And when it returns, the old question feels different. Not gone, different. Because maybe the question was never only, why am I not there yet? Maybe the deeper question was, can I trust a life that is still becoming? That question does not need to be answered quickly. It settles into the body slowly. The jaw eases. The shoulders release some of their attachment to what should have happened by now. The breath is less guarded. And a quiet truth begins to feel possible. Not every becoming can be recognized while it is happening. Some changes begin as discomfort. Some openings begin as uncertainty. Some futures begin as a feeling that the old life no longer fits, even before the new one has arrived. The field stays open beneath the stars. The horizon keeps widening in the dark. Wait, appear, remain. The rhythm returns again. This time it feels less like waiting and more like timing. There are parts of you that could not be rushed into existence. There are understandings that could only come through living. There are strengths that did not look like strength while they were forming. And maybe that matters. Maybe the years that felt uncertain were not outside the becoming. Maybe they were part of it. Not because every hard thing needed to happen, not because pain requires a perfect explanation, but because you are still here, still changing, still being shaped by life in ways that are not finished revealing themselves. The future feels less closed now. Not wide open in a loud way, just less closed. Hope feels safer when it does not have to prove anything tonight. Possibility feels nearer when it is not forced to become a plan. The heart has a little more room to believe in something unfinished. The stars keep appearing. The sky was never empty. It simply needed time for more to become visible. And perhaps your life has been that way too. Not empty, not over, not late beyond repair. Still revealing, still gathering, still becoming visible in pieces. There is no need for a final conclusion here. The story is not asking to be closed. The next chapter is not asking to be understood before it arrives. The body settles closer to support. The breath moves without so much supervision. The old pressure to become faster begins losing its authority. Wait, appear, remain. The rhythm returns one final time, quiet, patient, alive. Your life is not finished becoming, not because everything is guaranteed, not because the path is perfectly clear, not because every question has found its answer. Because something in you is still opening, something around you is still arranging, something ahead is still making its way through time. The field remains beneath the stars. The night continues deepening. The story continues without needing to finish itself tonight. And somewhere beyond what can currently be seen, life is still meeting you, still forming you, still becoming with you.